And then I also want to answer some of the questions that I got from people. Are there any taboos when it comes to tarot reading? Because I know some people might be very scared about tarot, just like, oh, you know what, there a lot of people say there are spirits inside, or that you have a tarot deck and then you must like treat it very respectfully. I will be the first one to tell you that tarot are just freaking cards. They're just cardboard cards. Some of them pretty, some of them not. I've taken a pair of scissors to a lot of my cards. I have taken like marker pens to a lot of my cards. They are just pieces of paper. They're just pieces of paper. There's nothing scary. There are no ghosts. I know it's a Hungry Ghost month. There are no spirits attached to my decks. There are people who do those type of tarot. I don't do that tarot. Someone asked, are there multiple meanings to a tarot card? And what if I have a different meaning from the textbook? As I mentioned just now, basically one card has many different meanings. And then there are sometimes that you have your own special meaning for cards as well. So don't worry that you need to like follow the textbook reading. You do not have to follow the textbook reading. I teach the textbook reading, but I also teach the intuitive ways of reading, so there are multiple meanings, don't worry about it. I don't know if I'm able to interpret the cards without my own judgment and what I want out of the reading. And the funny thing is that when you're doing a tarot reading, right, and then you're trying to force your answers to the cards, you actually know that you're trying to do that. You're actively trying to force the answer to the cards. So even if you're just like, for example, if you're just like, oh, I want to do a love reading, and then this shit comes out, and you're just like, oh, it's about I will have to fight for my love, but in reality, you know that, you know what, you're probably too busy, or that whoever you're in love with, they are just like fighting off you, giving them too much advances. And then when you're lying to yourself, you kind of know you're lying to yourself, so don't worry. You will know that you are trying to put your own judgment on the card, okay? And then of course, if you're one of my students and you want to ask me whether, you know, you're just like interpreting you putting your own judgment, you can always ask me in my private Facebook group, because as a student, I take care of you, okay? And then also, one of the questions I had from people is that they're worried that they're not able to interpret the cards correctly. That is just part of the process. That's just part of learning, where you start off, maybe you don't really interpret the cards that well. That's why you go to the books. That's why you study more. That's why you observe what's happening with the cards. And then also, there's no actual correct answer sometimes. Sometimes there are, but sometimes they're not. And then the next three questions I got is very similar. Is that basically people are trying to ask me that they don't know if they're actually going to be good at tarot or not, so they don't know where they want to start. And then they also ask, now, is tarot very complicated? I don't know if I want to start. And then that I'm worried about tarot being too complex. So here's the things, guys. French is very complex, okay? French is hard. Spanish is hard. Film editing is hard. There's a lot of things that are hard, but if you don't try, you don't know. So tarot is actually a quite cheap hobby, I would say. Quite cheap thing to try out before you actually devote more time, devote more energy, devote more resources to it. So don't really worry whether you are actually gonna be good at it or not, because I would tell you, I have students who are able to start reading 3 hours after my workshop. I teach a workshop, 3 hours of workshop, they can start reading. And the funny thing with learning as well, I know if you guys are learning, there's this thing called like the cycles of learning. So the stages of learning, number one is called unconscious incompetence. So you don't know whether you are good at it or not, and then you don't know that you're not good at it. So that's unconscious incompetence. And then conscious incompetence is that you understand that you're not good at it, that's why you study. And then you're kind of like conscious competence, so you're just like, oh, I know that I know this, and then suddenly you go into unconscious competence as well, where the final stage is just like you don't even know it, and then you actually know it, and then you go into mastery as well. So there's always this wave when you are learning anything. It's basically you start out like, hey, you know what, this is easy, I can do this. And then when you start using like difficult spreads, when you start like going to challenging situations, you're just like, I don't know how to do this. And then you start studying some more, and then you're just like, you know what, I can do this, until you reach a point where you're just like, I know I can handle this. So basically what I'm trying to say is that tarot learning, as well as other types of learning, there's always this like wavy thing, and then there's always a sense where I don't know what I don't know, and then oh, I know what I don't know, blah. So there's always this wave. Say that I have students who come out of class after 3 hours, they can start reading, but there is always a stage where you need to just like study a bit more, revise a bit more before you are like super confident at it. I can bring you from no confidence to confidence, but to reach a stage where just like I don't give a shit anymore, it takes a lot more training as well. But if you take my class, my online class, I know I'm selling stuff here, but if you take my online class, there's always the videos there for you to revise. And then, as I mentioned, that I do have a private Facebook group for my students who sign up for my full class, where I also help with like interpretations as well sometimes. Some people ask, where do you get the answers from tarot from? So basically this is the question about like, do you get it from spirits? Do you get it from da da da? I would say tarot is really something that dives deeper inside ourselves. So we are not actually asking answers from spirits. We're okay lah. Some people ask answers from spirit, but basically for myself, I don't. Whatever we're doing is that we are interpreting the cards based on what we know, but based on what we understand. Oops, I just burped really loudly. Based on what we know, what we understand, and then to apply it to different situations. So, how I do tarot is that I don't consult guides. I don't consult spirits. I don't want to say I don't consult guides, but basically, personally for me is that I don't have any spirit guides and stuff like that. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. So if this resonates with you, if this type of tarot is for you, come to me. If this type of tarot is not, there are many teachers out there. There are many people who are able to teach you as well. And one thing I don't want to do is that I don't want to convince you to take my class. Because sometimes people tell me, you know what, I want you to tell me whether this class is for me or not. I cannot. I cannot because number one, I don't know your learning style. Number two, I don't know what you need in a learning journey. And then what I can tell is that I can give you the knowledge, I can give you the encouragement, but what I will not give you is I will not baby you. We are all adults. If you're watching this, we are all adults. I am not someone who babies people because I don't have the patience for that. So if you are someone who needs a lot of babying, definitely I'm not for you. You can tell from this stream, basically it's just like I'm slightly rude. I am a bit aggressive. Thank you so much for being here, everybody, and then I'll say bye bye. Bye bye.